What's up, boys and girls? This is one of the greatest weekends of the season in college football. I love this season. I love this week of the season. Where's everybody at? Did they have a great Thanksgiving? Did you eat a lot of turkey? You still eating turkey? Prediction for the Vandy game? Who knows who's going to show up? I just hate it that this team has become so unpredictable and that you're actually worried about the Vanderbilt game. I never would have thought 10 years ago I would have said Vanderbilt was a guaranteed W every year with Kentucky, and now we got to fight our butt off just to beat them guys. And that's fixing the change, ladies and gentlemen. Fixing the change, because we're going to get us a good coach. I see Pigskin Pete's just logged in. We're fixing to come down to Clemson. I'm driving this big old truck down to Clemson, and if I've got to kidnap Brent Venables, I will. So we're going to get us a good coach, one that can win, one that can teach our kids how to lay the wood to somebody. Let's see what people are saying here. I heard Georgia's beating Georgia Tech 14-0. What are the other scores? Michigan was beating Ohio State. Unranked Michigan was beating Ohio State. I think Ohio State was ranked 9th or 10th. Florida State was beating the snot out of Florida. I really thought that was going to end in a 0-0 tie and go to 5 overtimes the way those two teams are playing. Oh, Louisville stomping Kentucky. What's the score, Pigskin Pete? Oh, by the way, I'm going to have Pigskin Pete on my show. He's going to be doing a live show with me sometime this next week, talking about his Clemson Tigers and who they're going to play in the ACC championship game. 28-7. Hey, Pigskin, who is with Miami losing? Does that change who y'all are going to play in the championship game? Are y'all still going to play Miami, or who do y'all play now that Miami lost? I'm not big in the ACC. I don't know all the goings on in that conference. Oh, it's still Miami? All right, then I need a Miami fan to come on the show with Pigskin Pete. Hire Paul Johnson, gang says. Oh, shoot, I hate when I do that. Chris Willis says, what's up, man? What's up, Chris? Glad you're on the show. I thought I'd come on here. I'm in Nogales, Arizona. I've got my doors locked because you never know. There might be a hole open up in the ground where the tunnel was a bunch of Mexicans jump out of it and want to kidnap me and use my truck, smuggle drugs. So I've got my truck locked up. I hate coming down here. Yeah, they're supposed to. I just read in the paper when I was in the IHOP, they found 2 tunnels just less than a quarter of a mile from where it's IHOP. It's funny how they dig them tunnels. I don't know how they dig them and they don't cave in with all this sand around here. That just don't make any sense. But they do. I wonder how many of them have caved in and nobody's ever found out. There might be so much money and drugs under these grounds, under the dirt, it ain't even funny. Corey Smith is at Neyland, and Tennessee's going to win. I wished I was there with you, Corey. My buddy BVD, Big Ball Daddy's there. He got the same suite with those guys that I was going to go, but I just couldn't get back in time. So Big Ball Daddy went. He's going to be in one of them suites like he was last week. But I'm going to go to a game next week and get up in them suites. I've always wanted to go. That's going to be a definitely a bucket list item. I've always wanted to go. I've been to several games down with the common folk, but I've never been up with the big boys. So what do y'all think about the Iron Bowl? Let's have a vote. Put Auburn or put Alabama. Who you think's going to win with a score? Yeah, you're right, Corey. There's no game next week. But you know what? If we win, there have been some 5 and 7 teams that have got a rinky-dink bowl. And I'd normally say turn that down because we're Tennessee, by God. But this year we deserve a bowl. We need the extra practices. I would say jump all over it if we were to win and they were to offer us some sort of Fruit Loop Bowl or something. Pigskin Pete says he thinks Bama's going to win, but he's pulling for Auburn. Corey Smith says 42-35 Auburn. I'm going to tell you who I think's going to win. If y'all watch my live stuff or saw me on Rover Sports, I answered this question when they asked me up there, them boys up in Philadelphia, on that show I was on. And by the way, find that video where I played the clips of it, and in the description there's a link to the full-length show and you'll see my answer. But I told them boys Georgia's going to win the Iron Bowl because it's going to be a battle royale. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out slobber knocker. And Georgia's going to meet a very softened up Auburn or Alabama in the championship game. So I think in the long run, Georgia wins. What do y'all think about that analysis? That's what I told them boys up in Philly when I was on their show on Rover Sports. Let's see. Billy Cole says Kip Jelly. I saw that, Billy Cole. Well, I'm going to tell you what, Chip Kelly would have set the SEC on fire for a year or two, but they'd have figured him out for too long, I'll tell you that. And I'm glad he did go to UCLA because I think he would have set the world on fire for 2 or 3 years. But I think he got scared of the SEC because he got to face all that Pac-12 stuff when he was at Oregon, and it ain't the SEC. It wouldn't have flown. His circus offense wouldn't have flown like it did in the Pac-12. So you can tell Chip Kelly, Catfish, says he's a chicken, and I don't blame him for going to UCLA. See you later, Pigskin. Yeah, I'm not a Bama fan either, Corey, but I've got a lot of Bama fans that are fans of this show that I really, really love. Chris Willis thinks that John Gruden is going to be the coach for Tennessee. Who knows? I think John Gruden would do fabulous things for this university, and that's another thing I talked about on that show with them guys in Philly. But here's what I'm worried about with John Gruden. He's going to have a hype machine that the SEC and college football has never, ever seen before. It's going to be huge. He's going to be the second coming, the Messiah, and the expectations are going to be through a roof. If we're not winning national championships, it's going to be a disappointment. And I don't think he'll be able to quite live up to expectations. And we're going to thank the world. If we do get him, which I think I'm not against Gruden. I think he would be great for the university. But if we do get him, we need us Vol fans to tamper down our expectations, because Chucky dolls are going to be selling like hotcakes if they hire him. And it'll be great for my show if they hire him. That'd give me so much material. The hype would be through the roof. I might hit 1,000 subscribers if they got him. But in the long run, I'm a Vol fan, and I want to do what's best for us in the long run. And I'd hate, and something inside of me is wondering if he's just not toying with us Vols. I know he has some connections here, but I don't know what to think about the John Gruden thing. Like I said, he'd be great for the university, do great things, sell a ton of tickets, and the hype on Rocky Top would be through the roof. And that could be a bad thing, but then again, if he was smart, it would be a good thing, because we need some hype. We've been off-season national champs for the last 10 years, but we need to be more than off-season national champs. We're actually, made fun of for that. And I do that 15-0 stuff, but that's all comedy. But we really do need some hype. I think it would really, really help recruiting. And the most important position in all of football is the quarterback. And he has that quarterback camp, and he's always on TV talking to draft prospects on the quarterback position. If he handled it right, the hype could be a good thing, but it would also be a double-edged sword where it could be a bad thing. What do you guys think about my analysis? Troy Edwards said, let's hope Falls lose today so that way Curry himself is in the hot seat and hires an actual coach. I can't go down that road, Troy Edwards, but I understand what you're saying. John Curry has a lot to answer for why it took him so long, because this is really going to hurt our recruiting with that signing day moved up to December 22nd. But I tell you what, I've been reading some things online. I think they're going to announce the coach. I wouldn't doubt it if our coach is already hired and his stuff is already on a Mayflower truck headed to Knoxville for the announcement on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't be surprised if that don't happen, because I really think with what I've been reading, there's going to be an announcement. There has to be an announcement real soon. We can't wait. We got to piss or get off the pot with this. We have got to move. UCLA's already hired their coach, and it's only it's still the last day of the season. They just hired Chip Kelly, and I promise you, I guarantee you, Florida's going to announce theirs Monday or Tuesday, and we have got to beat Florida to the punch. I'm tired of Florida beating us to the punch. I know they have some problems of their own lately, but still, we can't reach for another coach like we have with Dooley and even Kiffin and Butch Jones. We need a home run, a big home run, and it needs to be a good coach. And I don't think a home run necessarily means the biggest name out there. A home run means somebody that can bring winning football back to this program and a winning attitude. We need to be able to walk into a stadium, and we need to be on ESPN's game day every weekend. We need to be able to do these things, and we haven't in a long, long time, and we need to get back there, and that's the kind of coach that we need. And if you watch my clip on Brent Venables, they had to hire a strength and conditioning coach, and his only job, and he was a big old youngin', his only job was to keep him off the field so they wouldn't get a penalty. That's some intensity in his work ethic. He's all business. He's not the home run name, but he might very well be a gem. And I said in that video, we can't get hyper-focused on one guy. John Gruden. There's some gems out there, and I'd hate to see us miss out on a gem. He may not want to come to Knoxville. I mean, Rocky Top isn't the job it used to be. And thanks to Dooley and Kiffin and Butch Jones, it's kind of lost its luster, but it can get back there. But the longer it takes to get back there, the harder it is it's going to be to get a good coach. And that's just my opinion on the whole thing. We're at the precipice of some great things. We could either go down the toilet for 20 years, or we could really do something. And we've got to make a good hire. So John Curry, I doubt you watch this Rinky Dink show, but if you do, you need to be getting somebody good in Knoxville. Us fans deserve this. The fans that stuck through all this for the last 9 or 10, 11 years, we deserve a good coach. We need to be able to walk into some of those stadiums where people go, oh man, we've got a ball game in store for us. So that's just my opinion. What do y'all think? Let me read back here. Chris Chanley says, looks like Campbell, Peterson, and Mullen. I'm hearing Gruden is not coming to Knoxville, although I'm a Gruden fan, but here isn't interested. I don't know what I think about Mullen. I've been hearing a lot about Mullen. And here I am talking about the coaching thing, and I said in my damn Mullen video I wasn't, but this seems to be the hot topic, so this is a live deal, so I can break my promise on this. I'm not sure about Mullen. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know how to compare his body of work, because he's at Mississippi State, where they don't have the recruiting that and the name that Tennessee has. And I was thinking the other night, I was talking to Captain Scott Manning, one of the sponsors of my show, and where would Dan Mullen be on the radar if it wasn't for a Dak Prescott? I'm not sure about that. I don't think I would want Mullen. I tell you what, did y'all see that injury to that quarterback? What was his name? Fitzgerald. That was brutal. I want all of Volunteer Roadshow Army out there to say a prayer for that young man, because that looked horrible. BVD sent me a screenshot of that, and I tell you what, it turned my stomach. I hate to see that, but there's nothing you can do about that. It's football, and you can make it safer, but you can't make it safe, and it takes a lot of guts to go out there and play. And now you see why these kids that are juniors, you're wondering why are they jumping to the NFL, because they never know when that's going to happen to them. And you know, they only have one shot, one opportunity to make it. Yeah, Troy Edwards, that's Brent Venables, and I made a video. You need to go watch that video, Troy. It's called Breaking Brent Venables to Rocky Top. I did a whole show on Brent Venables. I'm very, very high on Brent Venables. Hey, Ryan Schrick, let me tell you why he chose UCLA. You may have tuned in late, but he's scared of the SEC. I'm kind of glad he didn't pick Florida, because I really do think Chip Kelly would have set the SEC on fire for a couple years until they had figured him out. But he never had to play SEC caliber defenses when he was at Oregon, and he could get away with a lot of that circus stuff and that two-card Monty offense that he had over there. But he wouldn't be able to get away with it long in the SEC when he played the likes of Alabama and you know, Georgia and those guys. It'd be tough on him, and I think he did it because he would be more successful at UCLA than he would Florida, and that's just the truth. So Ryan, I understand how you're upset. I do think he would have given y'all a spark, but he had only been a stepping stone coach for Florida, because in a couple of years they had to start figuring him out, and you would need another coach. But it'd have been a good stepping stone coach for you. Well, that's what I think about Chip Kelly. But I'm just a truck driving farmer. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a goofy guy with a, you know, that drives a truck and does videos. So I'm not Kirk Herbstreit or anything. Ryan says they need to get Frost. Yeah, I saw that, Troy. Ryan just mentioned that. I'm going to go back here and read some of this. Riley Davis Country, you're going to the game? Well, BVD, Big Vol Daddy's going to be up in one of those suites, and I'm glad to see that you're getting to go to a game. What's the update on the Georgia Tech game? Georgia was up 14-0. Michigan was up 14-7. Florida State was beating the snot out of Florida 24-7. What is it now? Oh, it's 14-7 now at halftime. Hey, y'all don't forget I'm doing these videos. I didn't do the Iron Bowl one because I had some trouble getting the technology figured out. But I talked to the guys up in Philadelphia that had me on their show that did that split screen thing. They showed me the technology, and I have got it figured out. I want you guys to call into the show. I need an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan, depends on who wins the Iron Bowl, and a Georgia fan. I need a Clemson fan, which Pigskin Pete's going to be, and I've got a guy, Ryan, that might want to do it for Clemson, but I need a Miami fan. If not, we'll just talk Clemson football. All you need is a phone or a computer with a webcam, but the phone needs to have a camera, it needs to have access. Whatever device you use needs to have access to email. or Facebook Messenger, where I send you a link, and when you click on that link, it uses your camera and puts you right on the show, and we can record it. And it won't be live, so I'll get to edit it out. So I'd really like for somebody to call in. I've had 3 or 4 people call, and I'd really need some more. I'd like to start doing that on a regular basis, especially with all these championship and playoff games. And you don't even have to be a fan. You don't even have to be a fan of the team that's playing. I'd like to have some people in there. I'd like to really start turning this show over to the fans and start interviewing some of them and telling me about your team. I had some people talk real big about wanting to win that Tiki Totem, but they haven't. Those guys that were talking too big, I'm not going to name any names, Collins, but they haven't emailed the show at volunteerroadshow@gmail to get me the contact information. So y'all need to get on the ball with that. Ryan says it's 24-13, Florida State over Florida. Oh, they're coming back. Well, they do miss a field goal or miss an extra point or 2 field goals. What did y'all say about the Iron Bowl? Who did y'all have winning? I saw one Alabama. Who else? We got some other people joining. Who do y'all think's going to win the Iron Bowl, Auburn or Alabama? Troy Edwards says Bama. I tell you what, here's Catfish's analysis on that game. Alabama's defense is starting to slip a little bit. They've had some injuries, but I really think Nick Saban can coach them up and cover up some of those deficiencies. Fitzpatrick is a beast. He's going in the first round of the draft next year. I guarantee you that. High first round. I think Auburn is playing out over their skis, is my opinion. I think Auburn's played some good ball this year. They beat Georgia. They shut down their run. But you're going to need to do more than shut down the running backs at Alabama. You've got to shut down Jalen Hurts. And I'm not sure that Auburn's going to be capable of doing that. So I'm going to take Alabama in a close one. I'm going to say 28-17. What do y'all think on that? Hunter Brown says Bama. I'm with you on that one, Bama. Chris Chanley says Auburn 34-30. It could, I'm not guaranteeing a win. I'm not an expert. I'm just a truck driver. I mean, Auburn could very well win it. None of us saw what happened with Georgia and Auburn. None of us. And if you did, you're lying if you said you saw that beatdown coming. So, they're capable of it. I mean, they hung with Clemson. They've played some good games, but a lot of it, I'm just wondering if it's kind of like a Miami, where they've just been lucky. I don't know. They weren't lucky in the Georgia game, I tell you that. They beat the snot out of Georgia. And I don't think that they could beat Georgia twice. I mean, it's hard to beat a ball club like Georgia twice in the same year. Kirby's a good coach. I think if they had to play Auburn, I'd take Georgia in that game, just because it's so dang hard to beat a top team like Georgia twice in the same year. And on top of that, coming off of a brutal game against Alabama, I just don't think Auburn can do it. You really wanted to see Miami versus Bama. Yeah, that would have been a good one, but yep, John B., anything can happen. It's college football. And that's why I've said earlier in the year, I had a guy before the Georgia game even started, hey, you just need to go ahead and roll over and accept defeat. And that was before the game even started. Hey, look here. I will never, ever, 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 ever accept defeat before a ball game starts. I might start accepting it in the fourth quarter or at third quarter or at the end. But as long as we have a chance, and Tennessee always has a chance. I don't care who it is. Anybody in Division I always has a chance. It may not be a very good chance. It may be slim to none, and Slim just left town, but there's a chance, and I'll always pull for Tennessee, and I'll never accept defeat before the ball game even starts. In fact, I don't accept defeat very often before the ball game's over. So you're right, anything can happen, and Auburn's a good ball club. Jonathan Chapman said Georgia's up 17-7. Riley Hudson says Tennessee can cover the spread. What is the spread? Is Vandy actually favored in this game? You gotta be kidding me. What's the spread in this game? What's the point spread, somebody? Oh, us by 2. So you think we're only gonna win by 1, or I mean, we're gonna win by 2 or more? You're probably right. I think we're gonna win. I really do. What's this deal with Jawan Jennings? All right, I want somebody to tell me. Everybody kept saying it was over this tweet or Instagram video or whatever it was, but I just read an article that I think John Curry come out and said it's not about the video, it's about other stuff. What was the other stuff? I don't understand it. Oh, the N-word. I don't know if that's worth kicking somebody off the team over. He wasn't coming to practice. Oh. So he's just pretty much given up. So y'all think Jawan Jennings goes to the NFL? I think he's eligible to go. I don't know. He may not get drafted, but I don't think he had that bad of an injury to really affect him in that way. But teams are scared of people like that's got an attitude. Look at Josh Gordon and some of them guys. They wouldn't let him play QB, and he threw a tantrum, so he didn't come to practice, and he ranted on Instagram Live. So that's what the rant was about. See, I never saw what the rant was about other than he said the coaches were liars. I was wondering what that. Yeah, Chris Bailey, I don't know if he'd get drafted either. John B. says he wasn't showing up at practice. Butch was covering for him and wasn't holding him to the same standards of the other injured players. Huh. He was Butch Jones' pet because he bailed his butt out in the Georgia game. Him and Josh Dobbs. So did everybody have a happy and Merry Thanksgiving? By God, Catfish did. I had me a Subway sandwich and some oatmeal cream pies. I mean, let me tell you about my oatmeal cream pies. They're all gone. Catfish ate every last one of them. Hey, there's only one Thanksgiving a year, so I get to enjoy all them carbohydrates I want on Thanksgiving. So I'm back on my diet. Don't be shocked if Jennings ends up wherever Butch Jones is. Troy Edwards said that. That's a good comment, Troy. Huh. Well, anybody got any questions for Catfish before I log out of here, or any statements, and I'll give you a shout out. Don't forget to watch that video. I put some clips of it on when I was on Rover Sports, and they do a thing with ESPN at the local 6:10 a.m. up there in Philly. And I did a video with some short clips, but the full-length interview I have on the show for 30-something minutes is in the description of that video. I may even put it in a comment. So go check that out. Those are some really good guys, and go sub up Rover Sports. They're really starting to try to get an internet presence out there, and they do a lot of NFL. But you know, SEC is my world. I'm not big in the NFL. I watch, like I told them guys up there, I watch, you know, former Vols. And what do y'all think about Alvin Kamara? When who did they play? The Redskins. They were down big, and he came up big, scored the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to tie it up and send it into overtime, and was big in overtime. He's doing fantastic out there. Billy Cole says, how long does it take a cook at 20-pound turkey at 375 degrees? I don't know. I never have been able to cook turkey. I don't know. Is that a joke, or you really want to know, Billy? I don't know. I'm a truck driver. Yeah, Hunter Brown says Kamara's balling out. He sure is. He's giving Ingram a run for his money for that starting job. He's going to be a beast next year if he don't get hurt. Yep, Pop, it's basketball season now. Yeah, we had a big win, and we hung tough. Schofield is a ballin' son of a gun, is he not? I watched some highlights. I don't get to watch much. It's mostly on the radio or watch highlights. But Schofield is playing out of the gym. And he might be our next chance. We don't have too many players drafted in the NBA at Tennessee, but he reminds me so much of Bernard King, and from the little bit that I've seen, and he has a chance to go in the NBA. I haven't read any scouting reports if he's actually projected to go in the NBA. Maybe some of the young guys out there that follow that more than I do can tell me. Florida beat Gonzaga. Jonathan Chapman says, Parker wants to say hello and loves watching your show. Well, you tell Parker I said hello. I've got a lot of kids watch this show. That just tickles me to death. You have no idea how much that tickles me. So, send me a Go Vols, Go Big Orange. We're going 15-0. I promise you that video. And I'll put Parker at the end of some of my videos. So, if you go to Volunteer Roadshow on Facebook, you'll see a post where I'm requesting people to do what that little girl does at the end of the video, where she goes, Go Vols, Go Big Orange. We're going 15-0. I promise you that. I'd really like to have some kids, or even grown-ups, you know, do something like that in a Tennessee hat or shirt. I'll put you on some of my videos. We're starting to get big. We've got 4 catfish restaurants lined up to have good old catfish coming in there to their restaurant, touring their restaurant, interviewing the owner. They're gonna knock me upside the head with their best food that they've got. I'm gonna sample it on tape. I'm gonna video it and put it on the show. I'm gonna interview their customers, talk sports. I'm gonna start announcing when I'll be there. So if there's any sports fans or fans in the area, one of them is in Blacksburg, South Carolina. I hope to have that one lined up pretty soon. I'm going to give them a call on Monday, but I had a Clemson fan suggest them, and it's a hole-in-the-wall place, and that's going to be a fantastic show. And he's going to try to have a bunch of Carolina and Clemson fans in there to be in there when I'm in there. So this show's starting to take off. I've got Captain Scott Manning of the Tennessee River Monster sponsoring the show. We're going to go on a fishing trip in March or April, and we have a big-time Tennessee player that we think will be on the boat with us talking football and fishing for big old catfish and striped bass. So I'm not going to say, because this player is projected to be drafted and it's not been done, but I've got an interview with a UT coach coming on pretty soon, hopefully this week, that's helping me get that together, and says this guy's a big fisherman. So there's a lot in store for this show, and I really appreciate you guys hanging in there for old catfish, because I'm just a truck driver, you know, and this is just fun. It helps pass my day, make my day go by a lot faster and more enjoyable. See you later, Ryan. Alright, see you later, Billy. I'm gonna get off of here. I appreciate everybody, and signing off. Go Vols. We're going 16-0 because we're going to kick Vanderbilt's butt, and we're going 15-0 next year. I promise you that.